You don't need another video in your life. You don't need another book to read. You don't need another astrology reading or try and decipher what the planets mean. You don't need any of that because that, in a certain way, is keeping you from not listening to your intuition. And they are all tools, yes, but if you are relying on them for the answer, if you are relying on them to understand yourself to the point where you have stopped actually asking yourself if you like this or if you're interested in this or if you want to go deeper, you are just using them as a block. Like, it is literally blocking your intuition. I want to dive deep into this because this has been me. And I think it's really important to understand when something that was used as a tool is now actually completely blocking you from your inner self, from your oneness, from your intuition. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Katerina. I am a Capricorn rising. I have Saturn in my first house. I am a Venus Pluto conjunction baby. And I am also a transformation guide who works within astrology and self-awareness to help you become your truest, most magnetic, most beautiful, abundant self. But with all of that premise is that you actually listen to your intuition, that you are guided by that, not because I tell you you should be a certain way, not because someone else tells you to follow their plan or understand their reading and be able to stop actually listening to yourself. So if you want to sit with me and we can chat about it and we can get all close, because I'm going to say some stuff that I am going to be really truthful about. And if you haven't watched my previous video, then you know that I spoke about my Saturn square and the fact that I feel like stuck, confused, don't know what I'm doing with my life, and how we can actually change our mindset and how we actually do need to reprogram our subconscious mind. I'll link that down below. This video is just going to be a soft entrance into the intuitive world, into trusting our intuition and understanding what that sounds like, and that we might have lost that. I'm going to bring up another chart system, and trust me, this is not me telling you that you need to go learn a different thing, or telling you to stop doing that certain thing that makes you listen to your intuition. But this is from the premise of understanding myself and what actually my intuition sounds like. And this is human design. Now, I've spoken about this before, and I've spoken about the fact that I am a sacral authority. Now, the reason I say that is because that has been able, like when I first started understanding that I actually don't know what I want and I don't know where I want to go in my life. And when I first started on this journey, that little compass, which was a sacral authority, helped me understand that that is my intuition. And the more I listened to that excitement, that sacral energy, and you could have a different authority, but once I started to listen to that, that helped me understand what my intuition is. And that helped me get closer and closer to actually listening to my intuition and understanding what that means for me. If you are someone that doesn't easily sit with themselves in silence, if you are someone that struggles with solitude, then understanding that from that lens might be able to help you understand your intuition more and what exactly it is that your intuition wants you to follow. So that's if you're looking for a tool or something to use to understand your intuition more, then that might be something that resonates with you. And that is the reason why I say it, especially when you've just first started to listen to your intuition. But strip that away again and just go to the bare bones of it. The bare bones is that the relationship that you were in And when you leave it, you say, I always knew. That's your intuition, like that deep knowing of like, something doesn't feel right, but I'm going to carry on anyway. That something doesn't feel right is your intuition warning you, right? And then when you go more into it and you start to actually make decisions based off that inner knowing, it gets louder and easier to follow. When you first start, it is harder to decipher what is anxiousness, what is intuition. But the more and more you continue, the more and more easier it is to understand what your intuition is and what it's saying. So I would just say that first off the bat, it's like everyone has been in that like moment of a relationship that they knew needed to end, or that they knew that they shouldn't have gone into, but they did anyway. That is your intuition talking to you from like a very basic level. But the thing is with everything within astrology, within self-awareness, within spirituality, they do tell you, they do guide you, but you can easily get trapped into that being the answer, and therefore you stop actually listening to yourself. This can be truly the pattern that keeps you, and that perpetuates itself into a feeling of lost and stuck and confused, because ultimately you're relying on something outside of yourself to tell you how you should be, how you should act, and what you should follow. If I said to you based off your charts that this area could be really fulfilling for you, and you felt no nudge to go towards that area, you had like absolutely no inner feeling of like, oh, that career path or whatever that interests me, then you're relying on someone else outside of yourself to tell you the answer. And I have been there. I have become very, very close with myself and my chart and what my chart wants me to do from an evolutionary standpoint, but then also from like an Hellenistic standpoint. And for a while, I really did do what I thought was the answer. I thought that this was the best avenue for me. And I think after a while, I just stopped slowing down and listening to myself within that. I realized that my silent time, which I used to have more, had become less. And I realized that I was seeking external sources in order to validate myself in an experience that I was having. And that had slowly started to creep up on me. And with someone with a Leo moon, it's like external validation is something that is what a Leo moon would struggle with. Anything with Leo energy would feel that desire for external validation. So it kind of became my new compass. Looking for certain things, looking for answers, going to have these readings, going to have these experiences based off what I thought was best from what my chart said. And none of it was wrong or right. It just was keeping me in this energy of like, I am no longer listening to my intuition. So even if that was the right path, I no longer knew. I had created a relationship that was based off external sources, and I slowly had to take myself away from them. It was like a process of me going back to sitting in silence and asking myself the question, what do I want in my life? Does this excite me anymore? What excites me? What thought of like my business, for instance, excites me? And I'm still getting there, still trying to figure out what that looks like, and that is part of a Saturn square. But I think take all that away. If you are not sitting with yourself in silence because your intuition needs that, if you are not sitting with yourself in solitude and asking yourself questions of the basic level of, am I happy? Does this make me happy? Does this relationship make me happy? Your intuition will never answer with not a yes or no. Does that make sense? I should have said that the other way around. Your intuition will only answer with a yes or no. It's a feeling. It will be yes or no. That was it. Everything alongside that, if there's ever thing like, yes, but then I should be doing this, I should be doing this, but what if I did this and said, I don't know yet? No, that is all anxiousness, anxiety, fear based reaction. Intuition is yes or no, that is it. Does this excite me? Yes or no. Is this relationship mine? Yes or no. And that is the shit, that is the scariest stuff. And that is the thing that brings us fear. But the more and more you listen to your intuition, the easier it is to hear, first of all, but also the the less tension, stress is within you, because you're actually guided by your inner self versus external things that are happening in your life. And if you are looking to be someone who has a life that is fulfilling, has a life where they have friendships that are fulfilling and validating, both like to them and for you, if you were looking for a relationship where you just fully know each other and support each other and guide each other and love each other, all of that is based off whether you have a strong relationship with your intuition or not. Because otherwise, you will always be guided by external things, external sources, external validation, external experiences. The relationship with yourself is the most important one, and that is the only one where you can be the only one who partakes in it. The relationship with yourself does not determine what your chart says. The relationship with yourself does not determine how many meditations you did in one day or what meditation you did. Returning back to your oneness, your source, is the thing that cultivates that relationship. And it is the thing that our society, our life, our phones, our social media has taught us to not cultivate anymore. You on here right now watching this video, I'm so thankful for you, but this is keeping you from like sitting in silence and listening to your intuition. You're again relying on me to tell you something, and I hope it resonates, but also I hope you get off your phone and sit with yourself in silence and ask yourself if you're happy in this life, and is there anything you can do to make yourself feel a bit more happier. Whenever I do things, my whole premise is like testing my capacity, and that is expansive, yes, and it is nervous system regulation, yes, but also it's like, I don't know if I enjoy painting if I haven't tried. Let me try, and I might not. Turns out I don't actually like painting. I much like prefer sketching, but you don't know until you try. So a lot of this comes with you testing and figuring out, experimenting, and your intuition will tell you which one it prefers. There's this thing, I don't know where it's come from, but me and my sister were talking about it the other month, and I was saying about your intuition, and she was talking about how it guides you, and actually your intuition is just, there are multiple versions of this. She was saying that your intuition is actually the version of you that's already lived this life and is guiding you towards the experiences that it knows it is going to live, and that's your intuition. I was saying that your intuition, like, I could feel it being your higher self, and your higher self has lived through that. I guess we're saying the same thing, but rather than saying that this me now is my past self, my past life, and my intuition is the person that's lived this life already, which I think is really beautiful. if that doesn't really compute in your mind, then it's more as in like your higher self, your spiritual self, your oneness is your intuition, and that is guiding you because it knows what is best for you. And you can also just look at it as a plain and simple, it's your source, it's your sacral, it's your body telling you what it doesn't like and does like. Whatever it means for you, whatever resonates the most. But at the end of the day, it's cultivating a relationship with yourself where you know yourself and you know what you like and dislike. And you're no longer validating yourself with external situations and experiences. And that's a human thing. Like, I do it, we do it, or we all do it. But where it doesn't change the trajectory of your life path is my main concern for myself. I don't want someone else's experience or situation or relationship to literally change where I was meant to go. And we could go deeper into that. We could say, like, well, that was the path that was meant for you. But when your intuition is telling you otherwise, I think sometimes, yes, sometimes you could go through a relationship, have children with them, and then you wouldn't have had those children with them if you left the beginning. So that was the purpose of that relationship. The purpose of that relationship was to have those children so they could possibly do something amazing and beautiful, or if just on like a basic level, live and have a life and a beautiful one, and you gave them that because you sourced them into this world. But for the next phase of your life, for the next version of yourself, to truly be in alignment, the intuition is the place that we need to start with. And, you know, like I said, like, I can guide you, I can help you, I can, you know, you can work with your Saturn lesson and understand that a bit more. You can dive deep into astrology based shadow work with me. But if you're coming to me for like answers that only you have, I don't want you to do that. You need to go back with yourself and get off this and go sit with yourself and just cultivate that intuition again, because that's going to tell you what's right and wrong and what works for you and what doesn't. And again, ending this video by saying your intuition only answers with 2 words, yes or no. Anything else is anxiety. Anything else is fear-based because it doesn't know. Anything else is your nervous system because it's scared, which is all fair and it's all fine. But the only way you'll know is by doing what your intuition wants you to do, which is yes or no. It's the first thing that comes in. If it scares you, if that answer scares you and you try to talk yourself out of it, most likely your intuition is correct in that. But yeah, I just felt really cool to speak about this because it's something that I have been dealing with. I would say that I have cultivated my relationship with my intuition again, back to it, but I had to really check with myself and be like, why am I relying on something else that I already know? If you have listened to this whole conversation and you are not yet subscribed, then listen to your intuition and tell me by subscription if your intuition says yes or no. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.